Snowdrop is a three-petal flower that blooms in early spring, often when snow is still on the ground. It is considered to be the fair maids of February and an emblem of human life and frail as fair. Keep this in mind when reading the rest of the story. The narrator of this fine tale is a woman named Christina who is described as physically lazy and mentally active. She married a man who lost his previous wife to, well, bad circumstances of wine and pills. All that remained of his previous wife was small watercolor paintings of a young girl about 14 years of age. She was slender and eloquent, sometimes depicted sitting and sometimes standing, often in an expanse of pure snow. Her skin was white as that snow, and her long smooth hair was black as wood. She had a pale red mouth. Who does that sound like? Throughout the story, there is mention of a mechanical house. The house cleaned and scented itself, cooked meals to order from the groceries which were delivered twice a week, did the laundry, even kept a sweep of garden, pruning the trees, digging the earth, and planting, and offering up cut irises and denim roses to match Christina's bright blue clothes. Speaking of blue, let's talk about sapphires. This sapphire ring indicated the relationship Christina had with her husband. It was a ring he gave to her, however, it was too small for her. Sapphires are usually gifted to people to arouse pity, so maybe he was trying to arouse her pity. Either way, their relationship was quite bad. He gave her absolutely no pleasure, and she made some pretty mean comments to him. Well, more fought them. Let's go back to those paintings. Christina asked her husband who was in the paintings and asked if they were self-portraits. The husband replied she wanted children. And Christina asked, "You mean it's the fantasy portrait of the daughter she couldn't have?" Keep this in mind. Real quick, things you need to keep in your mind for the rest of the story. Her husband left for 5 months. Winter came. Christina sat in the rooms of the house. She felt the pictures watching her, and when she walked through the corridors, the pictures blinked past like eyes. She took down the paintings. In the place where they hung, still they seemed to have amassed a greater strength. She had been alone for so long. The magic mirror. She was looking into her dressing room mirror applying makeup when something white and slim and girl-shaped standing between the mirror and the wall, there on the carpet, visible. This girl looked like the girl from the paintings. Christina screamed. She jumped up and spun around. The room was empty. Christina took up a steel ornament and smashed the magic mirror. Outside was the unearthly snow, and there, in the garden, under the birches, stood the snow child. The dark of a pine her hair, a single red berry her mouth. She keeps seeing this girl. The doorbell rings. It is the photo hunter, or the huntsman of this story. With the photo hunter is a wolf. The wolf could signify that Christina is a lone wolf, or has been alone for so long. Christina and the photo hunter burned the paintings, and that was the end of it. The end. It is not really the end. We have barely begun. On the TV, a commercial for a circus comes on. The whiteness opened out into a petal, and so into a single flower, and then the camera sprang back to reveal a girl dressed in white, holding the white flower. This girl is Snowdrop, and the flower she is holding is a snowdrop like we mentioned in the beginning. She has 7 small figures that accompany her in the performance, which are her dwarves, of course. She looks exactly like the girl from the watercolor paintings. This commercial keeps on coming on every single night, almost haunting Christina. Snowdrop and her dwarves dance the Dance of Death, which is based off a medieval theme of remember that you must die, when they would have these festivals of them dancing around a dead body to remind them that they will die one day. At the end of this dance, Snowdrop dies, then comes back to life. Could this be foreshadowing? Christina starts to ask Snowdrop some questions. She finds out that Snowdrop's role with the dwarves was to be their slave, seeing to their laundry by hand, shopping for and cooking their meals. On those occasions, they demanded it. Christina also suspected that she was a sexual toy for the dwarves, which is kind of brought up in The Dead Queen. A grim recap. What 3 objects did the evil queen try to kill Snow White with within the Grimm brothers' version of Snow White? And the answer is comb, corset, and apple. If you got that correct, you've been paying attention. The reason that is important is because Christina combs Snowdrop's hair with a magic comb. Christina then ties a corset around Snowdrop. She ties it really tight, and then Christina later kills Snowdrop with an apple. Spoiler alert, by the way, we'll get to that. This will probably come up in the class discussion, but do you guys think this is a rape scene? Christina's fingers brushed an icy sugar nipple. Snowdrop giggled. She tried the nipple again. Snowdrop squirmed, pressing back against her. Christina pulled the girl backward against her body. She caressed her best, sought the V of the coal-black fur. Then Snowdrop parted her legs and thrust her buttocks into Christina's belly. Christina felt the climax roll up between her thighs, turning her inner life, her soul, over and over in blind escape. As Snowdrop wailed in her group, and the room exploded. When Christina came to herself, Snowdrop was sitting cross-legged on the floor. She sucked her thumb. We do not know Snowdrop's real age. All we know is she looks about 14. Her sucking her thumb could be an indicator that she is too young to understand what she just did. It could also be an indicator that she's trying to comfort herself. Do you think this could indicate rape? When she could be underage and not of knowledge enough to know what she just did? I'll leave that up to you though. Christina made Snowdrop food and drinks. It was a meal of red, white, and black. I wonder why. Well, what you really need to know is she gave her burgundy apples whose crisp hearts were the shade of virgin ice and red wine. Snowdrop started to gobble down the food. Snowdrop plucked up one of the gleaming red apples, and Christina flinched. Snowdrop put the apple to her mouth and bit into it. Then quite slowly, her jaw dropped. Snowdrop looked at Christina, mildly inquiring. She said. Then her eyes turned up in her sockets, and she slid from the couch to the carpet. Christina had put 20 tasteless sleeping capsules in the wine, and in the sauces, meats, fish, cheese, fruit, all odorless, soft cleaning acids from the house. And then, of course, the apples, which were polished with the same things she used to polish the mirrors. In the beginning of the story, we find out that the husband's first wife died from wine and pills, and now the wife's painting daughter has died from wine, pills, and an apple. The mechanical house ended up burying Snowdrop's body under the snow. The husband then came home with a heat lamp and 2 colleagues. He brought the heat lamp outside and started to melt the snow. When the snow melted, Snowdrop's body was revealed to be preserved perfectly intact from the snow, which is the glass coffin of this tale. Her husband turned to Christina and started to ask some questions. And that is how the story ended. We didn't really find out what the husband asked Christina. We just know he started to ask some questions. So, quick little discussion question. Why is the story called Snowdrop? I'll give you a moment to think about it. So if you remember from the first slide, we talked about how Snowdrop is a flower that blooms in early spring when snow is usually still on the ground. They are considered to be fair maids and also an emblem of human life and frail as fair. So it's only fitting that the person who is showcasing Snow White in this tale, who is known to be the fairest of them all, is called Snowdrop. And then at the very end of the story, she is revealed to be perfectly preserved under the snow when the heat lamp comes in, which showcases her sort of blooming when snow is still on the ground. And that is the end of this presentation. I hoped you guys enjoyed it, and I also hope that you actually read Snowdrop and not just watch this quick little summary. Either way, I hope for the people who do read it, maybe this helped cleared up any confusion any of you had. And also, if anyone has any questions on Snowdrop as a story, you can email me. I will happily have a conversation about Snowdrop. I really enjoyed this story.